I'm going to use this photo because it's perfect for outlining the face structure, at least from the front. There's a lot of little details here that I like to notice, like the difference between the ear and the head, and the nose structure. We could even copy these features. More than just getting the correct position of things, I'm not worried about getting this corner of the head right. I'm focused on placing elements on the face that I'll position later. Even if they're in the wrong place, it'll still look like a face. That's more important than it being his face. The mindset is always like this. I'm not concerned with finding the exact position. I'm focused on adding elements, just like we did with the body blocking. It's all mixed up. I keep adding things to the head, then I stop, go back, and adjust the silhouette. I'm not going to give him an expression yet, so I'll remove the mouth position for now and keep it neutral. I might even remove the mouth completely and just suggest the lips with a line for the chin. I prefer to find the corner of the mouth first rather than the line between the lips. Just by adding a small line under the lip and suggesting the upper line, with another point, we almost have everything ready. It would be a waste of time to worry about this curve now. Pause for a moment, look from the side, and check other proportions. If the eye becomes too hard to get right with this Dynamesh, I prefer using Sculptris rather than increasing Dynamesh and dealing with lots of polygons. I'd rather make a big hole for the eye to avoid struggling with the geometry. Using the sphere to draw the curvature is also helpful since it's there. I'm only using the eye sphere because you already had it, but personally, I prefer not to use it yet. I'd work a bit more on this blocking without the sphere. Now you see how I'm wasting time trying to get it right. And all this takes us out of the creative mode of finding the nuances. I'm solving a technical problem here, which is fitting one geometry into another. I prefer to stay in creative mode as much as possible. He has a feature on his face that I really like. Between the ear and the skull, it doesn't go straight up. At the junction of the skull and ear, it goes inward, and the skull comes out a bit. Whether it works for the guy we're making, I don't know, but I'll add it now because I find it interesting. Even though the nose seems to point downward, I always try to place some parts in the structure that help make the nose more coherent. Even though it's pointing down a bit, I like to define the lower plane because it helps me find the shape of the nostrils. Now I know I can determine the size of the nostril hole. Regardless of how deep it goes, I don't stop the curve here. I continue it a bit. You can see how his nostril goes further than I drew. Mine stopped here, but his continues. This distance is important. This distance is also important. And this is all gradual. While adding new shapes, we must keep adjusting what's already there to maintain the flow of adding new information. It's all simultaneous in this process. Notice that even though I'm creating a likeness, everything I do is very smooth. All my touches on the geometry are gentle, even with the clay brush, and it all looks consistent and acceptable. From a distance, it seems full of texture, which is why I love this sculpting method. I don't waste time on details since any line I add already gives the impression of detail. After the initial stage and developing the likeness and expression together, we find other surface qualities, like small folds or more expressive wrinkles. Any detail that helps define the final character, not just a generic one. It's a back and forth between the sculpture, reference photos, and the original design, right? See how it's getting slimmer and more expressive. Adding details becomes easier, and these elements create quality work, all based on the initial structure.